Welcome, whoever's watching, to a live stream. We're doing a live Q&A. I already have a couple of questions that were sent to me earlier, either in the week or today. Hope everyone's doing well. Anyways, if you guys come up with a question, go ahead and send them in. I know I didn't post anything on YouTube announcing this live stream. It was kind of impromptu. But some guys emailed me a couple of questions, one yesterday and then one today, and I was kind of reading them. I was like, man, that's a great question. I should probably do a little bit of a live stream talk, because it's easier for me to talk it and explain it than it is to try to like type it out, and it gets lost in translation. I got a question the other day, or yesterday I think it was, from Grant Deng on Instagram, and he asked me, not sure if it's appropriate to ask, and that's probably a good opening statement. I'm interested in your take on the use of laser against near-peer threats. Many people have commented that laser/active aiming should be prohibited to use when dealing with enemies with night vision capabilities. Would you say that laser/active aiming is not a thing anymore, or it's still relevant currently? Great question. There's a lot of depth to that question, so I'm just going to give you my opinion. Now, granted, I still work with current warfighters and train current warfighters. However, my personal experience in this is probably a little outdated. So I'm just going to give you my point of view from my experience, not based on well, I'll kind of talk about the current situation, because that's relative to this question. To answer your question, let's start at the beginning. Many people commented that laser/active aiming should be prohibited to use when dealing with enemies with night vision. That's a valid concern, and yes, that is true with a near-peer threat or near-peer adversary. Even when I was doing this 13 years ago, some outfits, now I was working more in like third world type areas, but even some were using night vision at that time. And we, in our intel briefs, and a lot of it's intel driven, in our intel briefs we would get, the lowdown if these guys potentially had some night vision, or they're buying night vision on Walmart.com or whatever. So yes, light and laser discipline is definitely a thing. However, there are places that you can still get away with it, and like I said before, it's all situation dependent and where you're located and what the enemy has. You heard that acronym METTC. That's one of those answers, one of those coverall answers. It depends on where you're at and who you're fighting and what technology they have. I know I can tell you that without giving away the secrets, that people are trained nowadays to minimize that stuff. They use it when they have to. And, once you initiate, let's talk about direct action and its use there. Once you initiate that assault and you go loud, the gig's kind of up. Yeah, you want to maintain stealth and surprise the most you can, but there's a time where, it's not there anymore, and you can kind of get away with some stuff. Now, moving to the target and then leaving the target, that's a different story, right? You definitely want to maintain the discipline, the light discipline and laser discipline. But there was a time in the GWOT when I remember we were the only thing going, the only thing smoking with NVGs. And it was, if you followed us around moving to a target, if it was a significant offset, it was like a light and laser show in the skies and the alleys and the buildings and the windows and the ledges, the balconies and the cupolas on the rooftops, and there's like lights and lasers, not lights, but IR floods and lasers looking everywhere. So if you had night vision at that time and you looked out your window, you would have saw like a laser light show, like on a holiday or a celebration or something like that. And then as time evolved, as time went on, and the capability became more widespread, night vision capability that is, we had to dim it down a little, and we had to kind of use a little more discipline and only use that stuff when we needed it. Now, I will tell you that if you're doing something like, and this is internal to buildings, once you're in a structure, if you're doing something like a hostage rescue, right, you have to positively identify by looking at hands of unknowns as you come across, as you clear through rooms and you see people, and you're looking at hands to see if they're holding a weapon or not. You're looking for a hostage or a PC that you might have some intel on. You might have a picture, you might have a description. So your target discrimination is crucial. So I believe, my opinion is, white light in those situations is the way to clear those rooms. One, you're inside, and two, where I was at before, we were fast, man. There was nobody like that was even close to being a threat for us, even when we were using white lights and clearing buildings. It was just so goddamn fast, like it didn't matter. And the guys are well trained and they practice that, like it becomes second nature. And you only use the lights when you have to. You don't have them on constantly. Like sometimes you'll see cops hit a continuous switch on a light, and they'll clear down a hallway, and they'll check doors, and they'll do it, and there's lights shining everywhere. So you can see the guy coming down the hallway. Like the bad guy, if he's bunkered in there, barricaded in there, he knows that person's coming because he can see that giant white light. Now, we didn't run our lights like that continuous. We only use them when we're clearing sectors. And that's not anything secret. That's kind of public information. Most CQB schools teach that when you're clearing your sector of fire, depending on what position you are in that room, you will clear it with whatever your your light or your lasers, whatever equipment you have, you're using that to clear that sector and positively identify whatever's in that sector, usually by looking at hands. Or hands, wingspan, waistband is kind of what the old saying is for, like, if there's a gun within that proximity. Hands in the hands, wingspan within arm's reach, or waistband. They have a gun in their waistband or a holster or something like that. Like that could be the rules of engagement, the determining criteria whether you burn that guy down or not. So hopefully that kind of answers your question. Let me just make sure many people have commented laser / active. Okay, let's talk about active versus passive aiming, because I don't think I know I didn't talk about that. When you can use passive aiming, that's preferred nowadays, because especially near peer threats, right? So even anytime you turn on an electronic device, something that gives off some type of electrical signal or emission, you're emitting a signature, whether it's an optic or whether it's a radio device or a cell phone, Wi-Fi router, any kind of thing where you have to push a button and electricity initiates it. You're emitting some type of signal. So we're kind of going back to old school days where we didn't have everybody had a radio, everybody had night vision, everybody had fancy optics, everybody had lights, lasers, IR floods. We're kind of going back to that type of mentality and treating those environments, those near peer environments where we don't want to emit any types of signals. I know that's pretty common now across the board, conventional services as well. So hopefully that answered your question, and if it didn't, let me look at the comments. Feel free to expand. Where are you from? Oh, you guys are having a little, okay, no problem. I think I hit it. Let me look at that one more time. I had another question. I have to find it now because I don't remember. I was getting all stressed out about this setup I got going on here. If I was a civilian, I'm going to kind of caveat this answer. if I was a civilian and I had the resources to acquire night vision, IR lights, and lasers, and that kind of stuff, I would still I would definitely get it, and I would definitely practice with it and become proficient with it, both active and passive aiming or target acquisition. In fact, I am now a civilian, and I do that. So, yeah, there you go. No, no problem. Don't worry about the delay. Oh, tubes. Thank you. Dual tubes. It was you. I appreciate that refresher, man. I'm getting old and CRS, I can't remember shit. Okay, so the question was, um, do you prefer dual tubes or quad tubes? So in other words, like back in the day, I was running. We weren't running 31s didn't exist yet. We had 15s didn't exist yet, or if they did, we never had them. But it was 23s, right? The Pirates, and then the first gen panoramics, the GP, MVG, 18, I think they are, and then fusion goggles, which are really, really heavy goggles that were IR night vision capable with a thermal sensor, which overlaid one of the tubes, which were probably my favorite. I did love panos, but the first gen panos were horribly fragile. Like any kind of bumping, like serious bump, or like, we had a high impact job, and we're always like banging stuff and running around and being crazy with our kit. So these tubes, they had, I don't know if it was like the connections, the wire connections inside, but I would always have, and it wasn't just me, other guys too, one tube would go out of the four. It was such a pain in the ass to deal with. Like I got sick of them after a while because it happened a lot. I would take them back to the night vision guys. They would fix it. I'd get them back. I'd go run a couple of hits, and then boom, I'd lose one tube, and like that's the most annoying thing. Even if it's the outer tube, like you got four tubes, and it's like it was usually one of the outer ones. I think I don't think a middle one ever went, the middle tube, but some reason there was like a loose connection or whatever, and the outer one would go on. That would drive me nuts. So eventually I stopped using them because they were fragile. The ones nowadays, Gen 3 or whatever they're badass. Like I see guys that I work with use them, and as a contractor, I don't get those. But I have just 31As. But they're pretty solid now. But they're a lot heavier too than the ones I had. Mine were not heavy at all. They were very extremely light. On the other hand, the goggles I preferred to use because of the terrain, which were fusion goggles, those are great because of the thermal overlay. You could phase it in and out, the brightness, and you could see dudes hiding in the like thick vegetation. If they're somebody would squirt off a target, run into like the nearest palm grove or a little orchard, and they would hide under like wet blankets or garbage or whatever. Like you can't hide that thermal signature, man. If you're close enough and there's not a lot of layers of veg between your eye and them, you're not hiding from thermals. That's why like nowadays to be like ghillie suits and camo and stalking and like with drones and thermal sensors now, like that stuff becoming obsolete. I hate to say it, stalking to a target and all that. If they have the drone capability and those drones have thermals, man, like now, yes, they're developing suits and garments to cover the thermal signature, and that's fine. But like, how hot do those get? Like, I've never done a long stalk in I imagine it's like a those emergency blankets, that material, that reflective stuff, that hides your thermal signature. But like, I'm not doing a stalk in that because I'm gonna overheat. You know what I mean? End up dying by the time you get to your setting your FFP. But hopefully that answered the question. I did like the quad tubes, the 18s. They're awesome. Like your field of view is amazing compared to dual tubes, binos. But the ones I had were fragile, and they would short short out or whatever, lose a tube will go dark. So I end up running fusions more than anything, and I have the neck pain nowadays in my older years to validate that. Did I know Mickey Zahn? I don't believe so. The name does not ring a bell. Sorry. Okay, cool. I think I answered everything I had for now. Oh, something just came. Yeah, that's a good point. Easier to get hung up on stuff, man. Yes, yes. Um, Especially in like um, um, smaller, like confined, tight spaces, like aircraft cabins and shit like that. Yep, for sure. That would be hunky dory if you could do that for me. I'll owe you a beer or whatever your preferred beverage is. If I ever make it out to, was it New Zealand? I'd love to go to New Zealand. I'd love to go hunt out there. Ah, here's another. Man, you got some good questions. I ought to just bring you in my live and you can just ask them verbally. All right, question. Canted dot for CQB. Okay. Oh, IG. I'm assuming you're talking about guys that will run. Hold on, let me fire this iPad up. Guys that will run a LPVO on the top, their main optic, right? Like a 1 to 6 or 1 to 8 or 3 to 18 or something like that. Excuse me. And then having a red dot on a 45 degree just offset of it, right? So like for longer distances, maybe 100 to 500, I'm using my main optic, and then for, inside 100, I can at 45 degrees and I'm using that red dot. Is that what you're talking about? I'm assuming. If it is, I'm just going to go with that unless I hear otherwise while I'm blabbing. Man, I should probably, well, I guess they won't know what question was asked, so I got to turn the camera around here. All right, guys, so if you're joining me 30 minutes late on Instagram, I apologize. So let me give you the backstory here. You know me, I gotta explain myself. I don't like to make people mad at me. So what happened was, I was like 30 minutes before I started this live stream, and I actually went live at 8. It just didn't show up on Instagram. All right, here's the story. So I got this new software, the simulcasting program, so I can push it across all platforms and not have to have like my iPad and my webcam and my this cam and my phone and like looking in like 8 different locations like I'm like a late night talk show host or something. But this app, the software consolidates everything and just punches it out across all your platforms if you use the proper keys and all the technical garbage, right? So apparently YouTube's working. So I'm doing YouTube live, and I put in my Instagram, and it wasn't pushing across on Instagram. So I sincerely apologize to the IG folks. I'm so sorry. I'm not a technical expert, as you all probably know. If you've been following me for a little while, me and technology don't get along. I give off this natural electromagnetic field that shuts down all computers and devices and makes stuff malfunction on me all the time. And I'm getting tangled up in my microphone cable. So that's the story of why I'm 30 minutes late on Instagram. I apologize. So if you sent me a question, just send it in the comments below and I'll get to it, because I already answered a couple from on YouTube from previous guys DM me questions. One was about, and for you, some of you may not care, Like I'm looking at who's on Instagram now, and I know most of these people won't care except for Dan Grant, and he's the one who was on YouTube listening. They were his questions about night vision use, two tubes versus four, and also about hold on, I gotta close something. It's annoying me. And also about um, hold on, I lost my train of thought about passive aiming versus active aiming, or using night vision goggles with lights and lasers and IR floods and all that stuff, and having discipline with all that stuff in a operational environment. Now, all that stuff's done and answered and out of the way, so I'm all caught up, I think. Let me check my IG here. You guys are troopers, let me tell you, for watching this now, showing up, even though it's 30 minutes late. I apologize. So what do we got? Who's got a question? All right, so on YouTube I got somebody saying, as a European, I felt bad for the Italians. La Diamond Dog. Did you meet any European soft? Oh yeah, yeah. I work with quite a few. Work with the Polish Grom guys. I work with the 22 SAS. Who else? Europeans. German KSK. The FSK, which is Norwegian, right? FSK. So yeah, a few different ones. No Italians. I don't think. I did work with Italian conventional forces, but no special ops guys. Who else? I never worked with like the French guys. Yeah. So that's about it. Felt bad for the Italians. Was that in regards to that critique video I did? Because I'm not sure. Or did something happen, like current events? Something happened in Italy or something? Favorite unit to work with in the EU? That's a good question, because they've got some great dudes, man. I would say it's a cross between the Grom and the Brits, the 22 SAS regiment. Now, granted, I haven't worked with all of them, so out of the few that I did work with, that's my story. All right, well, it looks like it's kind of winding down here. I know I'm late. I'm sure I'd say it won't happen again, but it probably will, because I'm technically remedial, so I'll hang out for a few more, man, if anybody else has got any questions. I had something else to talk about. Oh, I remember. So, Silencio Coffee. Mike and I, my business partner, co-owner at Silencio, we're going to do a podcast tomorrow. So if you guys follow our podcast on any of the platforms, really all of them, I think. YouTube is like the main one I think people follow it on, but it's on Spotify, it's on all of those Apple podcasts. And anywho, we've got a couple of shows. We got one next weekend in Haymarket, Virginia. It's a Haymarket Day parade and festival that we'll be out at, and also in November we're doing the DMV Chocolate and Coffee Festival. So that's in Northern Virginia as well. That's at the Dulles Convention Center. So if you guys are in Northern Virginia, swing by, man. Come say hello. Whether it's Haymarket Day or it's the DMV Coffee and Chocolate Festival. And if you guys got any Silencio swag, like a t-shirt or a hat or stickers or something like that, bring that, and we'll give you a free cup of coffee, because we do sell coffee at those things too. All right, let's see. Well, that's all I got, I guess, for questions and stuff to talk about. I am going to do a couple of videos. People have been asking me about those React videos. man, I had a good CQB one the other day and I can't find it. I didn't save the video like I should have. But there's a couple others that I'm going to do, and I am also going to do some gun stuff for my Patreon channel because I've been slacking on Patreon, and a couple of those folks pay for that, so I owe them some videos for Patreon, some shooting videos. If you guys have any content that you're interested or you like or you don't like, Fred, stop doing those or whatever, let me know, man. Send me a DM or a comment, and I'm just trying to figure this stuff out. I'm trying to grow some businesses. One's the coffee business, and then my other is my tactical consulting that I've been doing since 2012 on and off. But I'd like to continue doing adding more courses and like start teaching civilians again, which is a lot of fun, but I'd have to quit my full-time job. And in order to do that, I got to build up my brand here, and it's kind of a balancing act. Because there's other stuff I want to do. I don't want to do a 9 to 5 the rest of my life. Because I want to, I want to do other stuff. I want to use my GI Bill, which I haven't used yet. Take some classes and do some other stuff. Do some traveling. Oh, okay. European combat divers. Gotcha. Yep. Worked with German Cascade, but never worked with any of their divers. Well, I don't know, because I never asked them if they were divers, the guys that I was working with. We didn't work in a maritime capacity, so I wouldn't have known unless I asked. Cool. All right. I'll wait about a couple more minutes here, and then I'll be signing off, because it is not that late, but I do turn into a pumpkin around 10 p.m. So, what else? What else you got? Send it. What did you do after the military? So I retired about 13 years ago. The first thing I did was I got a job as a soft canine project manager for a defense contracting company that I don't care to mention their name because I don't want to give them publicity, but I left there with a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. But anyways, I used to procure and train special operations dogs and law enforcement dogs as well. Sold a few law enforcement dogs to different agencies, not just U.S., also like Brazil, and I think Brazil was the only other country I sold dogs to. I did that for a little while, and then my tactical consulting company, I started doing more like law enforcement and agencies, even though they're military units. I offered everything from pistol, carbine, long range shooting, sniper fieldcraft, canine. I did a lot of canine stuff. I did some canine stuff with some really cool folks. Bortax National Unit or National Team. The East Coast SEALs training course. I did their canine trainers school. I taught them a canine ropes course. Fast roping, rappelling, lowering, raising dogs, setting up systems. A lot of shooting, a little bit of tactics, a lot of CQB school or courses. And I did that till about, I guess it was 2019, right around, not too long before COVID. I also consulted for some tech companies as far as ISR platforms like fancy canine camera sensors and stuff like that. So, and then once it started becoming a really saturated market with like tactical, former soft trainers, it was really hard to find work. So I took a full-time job as a program manager over at JSOC, kind of teaching the warfighters now, kind of stuff that I used to do, training them and setting up training for them and setting up backside for them and that kind of stuff. So it's fun. I'm kind of working in the areas that I did before. teaching, where they say if you can't do, then teach. So that's kind of what I did. um, that's kind of what I did until now, and I'd like to get back into my own thing again and teaching. Man, I love doing it. I would even strongly considering, or not considering, I would like to start teaching more civilians, which I didn't do that a lot. Here and there, I did a few. Really, the only civilian courses I ran was like some shooting, but mostly I did some soft preparation, like selection preparation courses. And I had some hard charging youngsters, man, some hard charging young guys that would pay to come to these. One came all the way from Australia and trained with me for like, I think it was like, it was like a long weekend. So it was like a 4-day course, 4 or 5 days, holiday weekend or something like that. And I put those cats through the ringers, man, and they showed their stuff. They brought it, man. I was pleasantly surprised by the young men that I worked with in that capacity. One of them went to Special Forces Assessment and Selection here in the U.S. and he made it. He went to the Q course. Don't know what happened to him after that. The other one, I believe he's in the 2nd Commando Regiment in Australia, I believe. I have to check with him. I don't remember if that was the last stop he made or not. Yes, sir. I do have a website, and if you go to, oh, you know what? I took it down off my profiles because I didn't maintain it. It's still there though. It's Wix. I'll tell you one second. Let me look it up. If you Google Storm Tactical Consulting, and it'll come up with a Wix site, and you click that, Storm Tactical Consulting, that's my website. I made that site like 10 years ago. Now, is it still accurate? Yeah, pretty much. All the courses and the references, the testimonials, they're all valid and real. But I haven't done anything with this course in about this company in about 7 years, and I would love to start doing more with it so I can slowly phase out of the 9 to 5 thing, because that shit is tiring, man. Not that I don't love working with the young warfighters now. God bless them. They're good people, but like, I don't know, man. I get squirrely when I stay in one job for too long. So hopefully that answered that question for you. Yeah, just Google Storm Tactical Consulting and a Wix site will come up, a link to it. Just click that. That's my site. All right, we got a few IG people jump on. What's up, Pooch? No change. Not to change the subject, like the shirt. Thank you. That is, guys, if you like this shirt, I know it's probably backwards because I get the selfie cam for Instagram, but it's Zane Dogs, Zane Stoops' company. If you go on Instagram and search Zane_dogs, he'll probably get you a shirt if you want to buy one from him. They're a pretty cool shirt. This one was made in light of recent events. Bite a Kami for Mommy he has on there. But yes, it's a very cool shirt. Zane has the cool shirts. Oh, you're backwards. Okay, cool. That worked out then. Do I have any bias on Navy units? I guess opinions, yes. I definitely do have opinions, biases. Now, I've worked with some Navy SEALs that are very knowledgeable, experienced, and squared away. But I've seen a few that, I don't want to say a few, it's been more than a few. A few that, it's a very big organization, and it's the same thing with Army Special Forces. There's a lot of yahoos out there that probably shouldn't be wearing a green beret. Times have changed, especially letting younger, more immature guys in the last, 20 years now? Excuse me. So, I do have biases or opinions of Navy. Their tactics are not what what they should be. That tactics is a weak hand of theirs, for sure. As far as shooting goes, some of them are pretty decent shooters. They don't shoot as much as the Army side, but some of them are really good. Oh, thank you for thanking me for my service, but you don't have to thank me. It was an honor and a privilege to serve in the United States military. Appreciate it though. No need to thank. I felt like I was stealing every day. Yep, so that's where that's at. I'm going to close that out now and close my, don't need IG open up there. Le Diamond Dog. Am I saying that right? He's on YouTube. Anyways, yeah, so looking forward to maybe doing some freelance work, training, running courses, shooting, pistol, carbine, long range rifle. Oh guys, I have this really badass Bergara long range competition rifle now, man. I'm doing a review on it. I'm gonna probably finish that review up and do the video for it in the next, I don't know, month. It's hard because it's hard to get to the range where I can shoot for myself long distance. Like I don't have that ability very easily nowadays. But this rifle is awesome. Bergara Premier Competition, chambered in 6mm Creedmoor. So that's all I got. If anybody else has anything, send it or forever hold your peace. Had a pretty good little run tonight. I haven't done a live in a while, man. I don't know, I think about doing them, I start talking about doing it. Oh, that's what you can comment on. Leave me a comment on subject matter, what you would like to see live talk about. I was thinking about doing one on Pete Hegseth's speech because everybody did one on that. But then that kind of died on the vine. I'm like, it's probably late to do that now. And kind of break it down. Maybe not the whole speech because that was like a 50-minute speech, I think, and it would take me literally 3 hours to go through that whole speech and comment on it. So I would probably just do like his 10 commandments or his 10 directives that he's going to issue and just break each one down and thoughts and opinions on those. And then there's another one I was thinking about doing. I don't know, it escapes me now, but I don't know. Send me some input, guys. Viz laser for daylight CQB advisable. Not unless you're doing it with like a protective mask on, just because your situational awareness. I'm sorry, not your situational awareness. I'm saying that wrong. You're a better shooter with an optic, and you're a faster shooter at target acquisition with an optic than you are with a red laser, whether you think you are or not. You can, and guys have, because technical issues, maybe their red dot went out, or if they had to do it masked up. Now, if I'm doing CQB with a mask, yeah, I'm probably using a Viz laser. If it's daylight, most definitely. Good question. What other questions might you have? Studying marketing, selling, wait a minute, let me read this out loud. I'm studying marketing. Do you have, like, the selling fiber? I don't know if my English, okay, it's a translation thing, okay. My English is good enough, or is good. I'll try not to destroy English speaking. The Diamond Dog, you don't happen to be French, are you? I'm just making an assumption on your screen handle. Do I have the selling fiber? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking. Oh, from Paris. Very cool. My son studied marketing in college. He has a degree in marketing, and he's pretty good at it. But I don't know where I was going with that. He's a good kid, good man, and he's good at marketing. He loves the outdoors. He likes hunting, fishing. He kind of wants to market himself in that aspect, maybe start guiding. So hopefully he gets to do that. Oh, do I have an entrepreneur mindset? I'd like to think I do, but I'm not. To answer your question, Le Diamond Dog, yes, I think I do, but I'm not a very good one. Like I'm not technically not a great entrepreneur. I don't think. I have great ideas. It's just executing them sometimes is difficult for me, I guess. And a lot of it has to do with finances, right? Especially nowadays, everything is so expensive. So I like to think I have an entrepreneur mindset, yes. I had some great inventor ideas that I just could never push through because, well, one, that's an expensive endeavor to prototype equipment and market it or find investors or buyers and then bring it to manufacturing and then selling it. That's a difficult thing. I had one prototype made for a active shooter door stoppage device. Without getting into the details, it's a great idea, a great concept, but I kind of paid a buddy to help me because he was a mechanical engineer and he had patents and inventions and all that other stuff. He's good at that stuff, and he sent this thing out to get worked on this prototype, and it just didn't fit any of the stuff I wanted it to fit on, and just to build it was like, I don't remember how many hundreds of dollars it was for this chunk of steel. Not a very big one, and I ended up quitting just because I didn't have the money to follow it through. But I think if I had a bigger wallet, I would have a better entrepreneur mindset. I guess that's the answer. So, cool. Well, guys, thanks for joining. Thanks for asking questions and interacting with me. I love it. It's fun. I look to here be making some reaction videos very soon because those are really fun to do. It's just editing the video kind of sucks, but because it's technical. And if you guys have any ideas of content you would like to see, whether it's like a shooting video, the shooting videos are cool, right? Some guys love them, but then like a big portion of the audience doesn't. Like some of the ladies don't really care about that stuff, or maybe some of the older folks don't really care about that stuff. I have a pretty broad range. Like if you look at my analytics, I have a broad age range of people. Most of it's younger men. By younger, I mean ages 20 to 50, right? But some of them don't like, go on my YouTube videos, watch my most watched video. The title is the best CQB demo ever, ? And it's kind of sarcasm because of the scenario. Read my explanation of what we're doing because it was strictly a PR event. So it wasn't real CQB, right? But if you look at the comments and some of the haters out there, oh my God, and the keyboard critics and warriors, like, holy shit, man. Like, give me a break. Read the other comments, or at least read my caption to get the backstory of why it's not perfect CQB, right? But it's funny. I get a lot of interaction, and that's kind of what drives the algorithm, right? The engagement, whether it's good or bad. But man, there's some hateful people out there. Reddit is even worse. I started Reddit like 8 months ago just to promote our coffee podcast. And holy cow, man, there's some little a-holes on that platform. Very liberal people on there. Very young, like, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but the Gen Z, living in his mom's basement, playing video games in his underwear. Like, those are the kind of people I envision on Reddit. Like, what a bunch of clowns. Like, you have nothing better to do with your spare time in your day than to find my videos and sharpshoot them or talk crap to me. Like, you don't know my background, you don't know my history. Like, stop being rude and disrespectful, because there are some outright disrespectful people on there. Anyways, thanks for letting me vent, guys. Yeah, that's probably, I've been told that, Le Diamond Dog, the military guys don't like to sell yourself. It's part of your mindset. Yeah, maybe it's, I don't know if it's part of your mindset, but yeah, I mean, we just, like, I don't like to talk about myself, and that's probably my downfall, why I'll never be successful, like, in this endeavor, right? I just like to get out there and be a person and communicate with people, with good people, like-minded people, sharing thoughts and ideas, and making you better than when you woke up this morning. Like, that's what I like doing. I like teaching someone something and seeing the light bulb go off in their head and like figure it out and like, oh wow, that's awesome. So that's what drives me now, and hopefully I can start doing that more here pretty soon. Oh, dang, Grant, you read those comments? Man, there's some haters out there, buddy. Like, holy cow. Some rude people out there. Oh, they have. It's funny because they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. They're like, some of you guys know my background, right? Like, and I'm not gonna brag about it or talk about it, but like, I was in a place that was the best on the globe at what they did. Like, I'm not exaggerating. On the globe, and I got these little shits coming on there and saying, "Oh, you guys, no, you do this all wrong." And there's even some other like former Army Special Forces guys on there that are kind of big in the YouTube space that get on there and like sharpshoot me and critique me and stuff. And that's cool. Like, I got thick skin. I don't really care because I'll critique the hell out of someone else. And I'm gonna start doing that more. Like, the ones that are pinging me, I know it's childish and immature, but I'm gonna ping them back. So stand by for more of that, more of that drama. And I don't like the drama, but like, some people just need to be spoken to directly. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, all right, guys, a couple more here. As a Zoomer, we are not social and artificial. It's sad. Interesting, interesting point. Yeah, too many Ukraine Gaza videos. Yeah, exactly. Have you guys seen this dude, the Project Gecko guy? Like, his videos? Those are one. Those are fun. Those are fun to watch. Like, I can't watch those videos with a straight face. Like, I did one or two of his, and like, holy cow. All right, well, it looks like we're about done here. I've been on here for like an hour on YouTube and a half hour on the Instagram. So you guys have a good night. Thank you for participating, especially you, Grant. Appreciate it, and you too, Le Diamond Dog. Thank you from coming over, shouting out all the way over from Paris. There's Instagram. I'm not monetized on any of these, but that's like my biggest following, I think. Let me scroll through some of these DMs. Oh, if you're a Silencio Coffee fan, guys, Travis Thomasy, who's a pro shooter, his Instagram, he's an IPSC world champion, multi-USPSA national champion, and he shoots for Masterpiece Arms, MPA, which I actually shoot one of their chassis on one of my guns, which is badass. He posted a story, and it's probably done. That was a while ago. It was probably a week ago, but we sent him some Silencio, and he was supposed to help plug it, and he plugged it with some other coffee I guess he likes, and you know, it was a valiant effort. I guess I should be grateful for that. All right, guys, you guys have a good night. many thanks, and thanks for the questions. I send them, man, send them, because that will motivate me to get on here and do this stuff. Because sometimes I'll come up here and I'll have a little bit of motivation. I'll come up here, I'll sit down, I'll open up, and I'm like, I don't feel like doing it now, and I'll go back downstairs and play with the dog. But thank you for participating, guys. You guys have a good night. I'll see you soon. Peace.